What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to answer the question of what was my life like as a diesel technician. So I had this job as a diesel technician. I worked as a diesel tech for a few years since I moved to Florida. And I'm going to touch base on both jobs because I did have two separate diesel technician jobs for two different companies. And they were pretty much the same, but also different. So the first job I had was in Clermont, Florida, and that's about an hour away from where I live. I started work at 3 p.m. and ended at 11:30 p.m. And then I had to do the hour drive. But when I walked into work, I would change my clothes, get into my uniform, and start my day. I would be told what to do, what trucks that had to be worked on. I would pick up my paperwork and find the vehicle. Then I would do the services. I just started out learning about diesel and how to work on them, so they had me doing the lube. I was a basic technician. I did oil changes, filter changes, brakes, tire rotations, tires, tons and tons of tires. Oh my god, how I hated tires. Simple, mindless work, but god did I hate them. Tons of oil changes, fuel filter changes, things like that. A lot of lubing on the truck. Basically anything that you found that was defective, you had to replace it. Tons of airbags, stuff like that. Now, trucks are super easy to work on. They aren't complicated at all. Even the diesel engine, pretty much, if you work on a gasoline engine, a lot of people say it's difficult, but it's really not. They kind of go hand in hand with each other. I mean, one takes diesel, one takes gas. One has spark plugs, one has glow plugs. But it's really not that hard and not that difficult. I mean, the theory is a little bit different for how the engines run. One runs on compression, so it's like it's not that difficult. You just got to read up on it and kind of figure it out. But pretty much it's just a lot of diagnosing what's wrong and then fixing the parts. And I would do that all day. I would have 3 breaks, 2 15-minute breaks, and then 1 30-minute lunch break. Those were spread out throughout the day to kind of make the day go by fast. And the day did go by pretty quick for me. I didn't really have any issues with it. Now, being in Florida, it is hot. But where I was in Clermont, we were on a very hilly area, so the wind would constantly keep blowing, so it would keep us cool. It wasn't really that bad. And not only did I work on tractor trailers in there, I also worked on semi-trucks. I don't want to bounce it too much, so it's not semi-trucks. Not only did I work on the tractors in there, but I also worked on the trailers. And those, I hated trailers also. What annoyed me was having to get under the vehicle, jack it up. I just didn't like all that stuff. Too greasy, too messy. Changing the oil, it's like 40-something quarts of oil in that crap. And then when you drain it, it just falls everywhere. It's just so messy. Like, they need to have better alternatives of cleaning this out. Like, maybe stick a tube in there and suck the oil out from the fill tube or something, but whatever. And then the second job that I had was, I transferred from there into Lakeland. And from Lakeland, which was 30 minutes from me, which was way closer, I think it was the same pay. I didn't even get like any raise, but it was fine. From there, it was the same exact thing I was doing. I was just closer to home. And that shift changed. That shift was no longer a 3 to 11:30 shift. That shift was a 4:30 to 3 a.m. shift. I had to do 11-hour shift, and it was 4 days a week, which was, I guess, kind of cool. The only thing is, it took my body a lot of time to get adjusting to, and I probably almost fell asleep a good few times. It was hard, and if you got caught falling asleep on the job, you would get fired. So I don't think they understood that people just weren't used to that shift, and, like, your life isn't meant to work those hours. You're supposed to be sleeping at those times, but I guess work just gotta go on, apparently. So, yeah, I did that shift for a while, and that was a hell shift. I didn't really like that shift. And from there, I transferred to another site in Lakeland, and that was a way better shift. That was back to 3 to 11. And that was a really chill shift because I was only 30 minutes from home, so it didn't really bother me much. And that one was a much more peaceful side. We only worked on one set of fleet trucks, and because the other sides we worked on a bunch of different fleet trucks where like people rented those trucks, but on this one side we only worked on one particular fleet for this one particular company, and it was easy. It was such a great time. There was great guys there. It was cool. Then management changed, and then it became stupidly annoying. Then I left, and I got into this other company where it was just me and this one guy. He was the manager. He was really cool at the time being. Notice how I said at the time being, because later on in life, he became really douchey. Um, but my shift from there was 7 in the morning till 3 p.m. And sometimes I would go into 6 p.m. depending on how much work there was. Now, there was always tons and tons of work. If you ever get into diesel field, you're really never going to be out of work. There's always going to be servicing. These trucks stay on the road constantly and they barely shut off. Literally, one shift will come in, drive those trucks, and then another shift will come in and start driving those trucks. Those engines go through a beating and they drive up and down, all over. So I was there from 7 a.m. till 3:30 p.m., sometimes later. So at 7 a.m., I'd come in, get prepped for the day, change my clothes, or sometimes I'll leave my clothes already on from home, just get straight to work. I would go into the lunchroom, set up my laptop, get my paperwork ready, start to see what needs to be done, grab the keys, grab a truck, pull it in, do some servicing to it, maybe find out, hey, this truck isn't running or this truck isn't working, then I'd go check it out, see what it needs, try to get it started. I'd get it started. People will pull up throughout the day. As they're pulling up, I would work on their stuff, and it's like really minor stuff that people will pull up for, like really quick simple jobs like a headlights out, hey, we need a new 7-way cable, I changed that. So it was really small, minute, mindless work. We didn't do tires, which was one of the best things about that job. We didn't really do tires at all. We had a company that would come out and do it. I just have to call out the company, so that was super easy. At the time, just because it was me and the manager alone, I didn't do wheel bearings, I didn't do stuff like that. So when the vehicle needed brakes and stuff like that, we would call out an outside company to come service it. The only thing that I would have to do was oil changes and minor maintenance. Maybe some check engine lights here and there. Usually those check engine lights would go out to dealerships. So like I said, it was super, super, super minor work. And it was an easy job. I was making $24 an hour working there. And it was easy. And the overtime was ridiculously easy because they would give you overtime like nothing. They didn't even care. I had the keys to the shop. Basically, I was the overhead of the shop after my manager, and I would basically run it because it was just me. So they had no choice but to give me that power of running it. And it was cool for a while until things got a little sour between me and my manager. Basically, the stories in my old podcast, so you can check back the old podcast and you'd hear the story. We hired some guys, and things just didn't go well between me and the guys, and everything just went sour. So. And no, well, I don't know. To me, I don't think it was my fault or problem. I just think things got sour. Like I said in the beginning, when it's just you and one person, they're gonna treat you really good because it's just you. So if you leave, they're screwed. But when more people are introduced, they don't really need you as much, so they'll treat you any type of way that they want. So I'm not going to go back into that because if you want to see that, you can just click on the other podcast, or I'll leave it in the link in the description below for you. So after that, what else would I do? I would, clean up the shop, make sure everything is cleaned, answer phones. I did have my own personal phone, so I'd answer phones from other managers to see what they needed, if everything was okay. I would drive around a lot to pick up parts, which was really cool. My time there would go by so quick. Literally, I'd be there at 7 o'clock. I'd have a 30-minute lunch and then 2 15-minute breaks. I never really got to take the 15-minute breaks because I was always slammed with something. And sometimes I never even get to take my lunch. And those were unpaid hours, and I should have taken them. I want to, but like it was just hard. So yeah, that's basically how my day was. Really not much to it. just your basic work day, just basic lube and stuff. I had to bring my own toolbox. They didn't supply me with a vehicle to help me bring the toolbox. They didn't really supply many tools there either. I had to have all my tools. But there really wasn't much going on. I never had to take off tires or anything. Until the two guys came along, then we had to start doing heavier work, like the tires, the brakes, the clutches, the transmission removal, stuff like that. We had to do things like that. So that was about it, guys. If there's any other questions that you guys want to ask and get my feedback on it, just ask me simply in the comment section below. Or if you want to hit me up on my Instagram, you can hit me up at King Customs and just DM me. You can also hit me up on my TikTok at King Customs as well. And I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please make sure you hit that like button and also hit that share button if you found something valuable from this content. And I'll see y'all for the next one. Peace.